Greetings, sports fans, and welcome to the latest edition of the Breath of Fresh Air webcast. I am your host, Charles Taylor, and I am riding solo tonight because my friend Patrick Brackett is a little bit under the weather. Uh, I talked to him earlier, and he's starting to get better. Uh, Hopefully, he'll be back with us next week for the next edition of the webcast. So, for everybody on everybody's behalf, we hope Patrick gets better soon, and I know he will. He's tough, so he'll be back with us. For today's webcast, we are talking about a few things, including the Super Bowl. So, of course, we have to review what happened during Super Bowl 54 in Miami, which was a Kansas City Chiefs victory over the San Francisco 49ers 31 to 20. As you guys know, I am a huge 49ers fan, and I thought they had it. They were up 20 to 10 with about 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and everything just kind of fell apart at the end. They couldn't get stops, and they couldn't keep the ball moving on offense. So all the credit goes to the Kansas City Chiefs. Congratulations to them and their fans who are partying up right now as we speak. But excuse me, congratulations to them for being able to win the Super Bowl. First championship in 50 years they had. So it's been a long time coming for the Chiefs and for the citizens of Kansas City, Missouri. And I'm sure it's worth the wait for them. So give them credit. I'm very happy. If I had to see my team lose, and I guess it would be to the Chiefs, I'm happy for Andy Reid because he's been a good coach in the league for a long, long time. And the only knock he had was the ability to be able to win the big game. Well, now he has won the big game. He has him a Super Bowl championship, a Vince Lombardi trophy, and with the team that is there right now, it could be possible they can get one or two more. Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback, he's about to break the bank on a huge contract coming up, but he's been great since he's been in the league or since he's been starting for the Chiefs. This is his second full season as a starter. We know he won the regular season MVP last year. This year he was the Super Bowl MVP. So it looks like the sky's the limit for Mahomes and the team with weapons like Travis Kelsey, the tight end, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, assuming Sammy Watkins doesn't chill for a little bit. But there's a lot to look forward to with Kansas City. McCole Hardman's another weapon they have. Uh, Damian Williams, the running back, who you could have made a case he could have been the MVP for the game. But it went to Mahomes, and I'm sure nobody's really complaining about that, seeing how it's a quarterback driven league, quote unquote. So, congratulations again to the Kansas City Chiefs for winning this game. And for me, I was wrong about this game, and I was wrong about Patrick Mahomes, honestly, because I was one of the ones who thought he wasn't worth that much hype. He's obviously been very successful as a quarterback, but for him to be able to find a way to make plays in the face of that ferocious pass rush the San Francisco 49ers were bringing says a lot about him and his character and the team's character. Mahomes didn't look good at all, especially in the second and third quarters. He was missing throws in the face of that pressure. He was throwing behind receivers, and he threw two interceptions, something you don't necessarily see from him. But in the fourth quarter, he rose up, he stood there, took hits, and made pressure packed throws that had to be made. So when a person can do that, you can do nothing but tip your cap for him. So Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs, tip to the cap to y'all, and y'all deserve this championship. As for the San Francisco 49ers, look, I'm definitely hurting, and I know the 49er fans are still hurting. And obviously, the team is hurting. A lot is coming down on the head coach, Kyle Shanahan, for some questionable play calling and some questionable time management. Uh, but even with those, the 49ers had their chances Again, they were up 20-10 in the fourth quarter. They had an opportunity to close the game out, but they couldn't get anything going. They missed a few throws. Jimmy Garoppolo missed the throw to Emmanuel Sanders when the team was down 24-20. That could have gave them the lead. He had gotten Sanders had gotten behind the defense, and Garoppolo just overthrew him. Uh, it it was tough. I mean, could they have ran the ball more? Absolutely, they could have ran the ball more. And I guess that's the main thing about what happened with the play calling. The 49ers went away from their strengths and they were running the ball pretty well. But at their core, they're a running football team who plays good defense. Jimmy Garoppolo is kind of the complement to that. They didn't run the ball enough. That would be the only thing I would really knock. Yes, I felt like they probably should have used a timeout or two at the end of the first half instead of letting that time run down. Yes, they should have ran the ball more in the fourth quarter. And that's probably the main thing. If you're going to go down, you want to go down with your best stuff. And I don't know if the 49ers can necessarily say they went down with their best stuff. It's not a knock on Jimmy Garoppolo, but I'm just saying if you have an identity, that's what you want to go down with. And I don't know if they did that. So it's going to be a very painful offseason for the 49ers, but I think they are set up pretty well for the future to make runs to the Super Bowl and maybe even win a Super Bowl or two. I think they're that good roster wise. I don't think they have much of a weakness. Garoppolo is locked up long term, and I think he'll only get better as time goes along. We have to remember the thing about Garoppolo is this is honestly his first full year being a starter. Last year, he got hurt in the third game of the regular season, ironically, at Kansas City. And of course, we knew his record coming in was, I think, 7-0 as a starter, but he played just a handful of games as a starter with the 49ers. Then he started 2 games with the New England Patriots before he got to the 49ers. So he's going to get better, or at least I think he will, with a little bit more time. This is his first full year playing as a starter. I think he'll come back. I know there's a lot of crazy rumors going out there involving Tom Brady coming to the team. More on Tom Brady later on in this webcast. But I think Garoppolo is there to stay. They locked him up long term, and they'll be able to build around him. They have a lot of good players in their own right. Debo Samuel's a budding star. George Kittle's a beast of a tight end. Emmanuel Sanders, like I mentioned earlier, is a good receiver. And they have a couple other younger receivers like Kendrick Bourne and Dante Pettis, who I expect to be bigger parts of the offense next year. On defense, you know about the line with Nick Bosa, DeForest Buckner, Eric Armstead, Solomon Thomas, a lot of great players on that line. The linebackers, Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, Quan Alexander, and the secondary with the safeties, Jimmy Ward and Tart. The corners, Richard Sherman, who he got beat a couple of times. So, but it happens to the best players. So I still think Richard Sherman is very solid. Emmanuel Mosley's good, and then we'll see what happens with Akeelia Weatherspoon, who didn't play a whole bunch, but he's another young corner. So the 49ers have a lot of depth, a lot of talent there, and I think they'll be ready to compete again. Now, hopefully, there's not a Super Bowl hangover for them. We know how that can go. It's very difficult on the loser of the Super Bowl to make it back to that point. And recently, it's been tough for them to make the playoffs. The LA Rams from last year, they lost the Super Bowl, didn't make the playoffs before. So it's going to get tough. Teams are going to improve, and other teams may slip a little bit. The challenge for the 49ers is to use this loss not as a downer in terms of letting them get into a situation where they can't pull themselves back up, but to be able to rise on up, use this as fuel, and hopefully, at least in my estimation, they can get back to the Super Bowl and make the plays they have to make to win it. So that's my review on the Super Bowl. Um, there's really not too much more to add. except for, again, congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs for finding a way to win that game. And the people in the city of Kansas City, you deserve this. So, congratulations to them. So, more on the Super Bowl. Let's talk about the halftime show that took place. Now, it was J Lo, Jennifer Lopez, and Shakira providing the entertainment for the halftime show. Oh, by the way, a very good job by Demi Lovato on singing the national anthem. That was one of the best national anthem performances I have seen in a while. So props to her on that. But there's a lot of there was a lot of fallout from the performance from J Lo and Shakira. So a lot of people I had seen through social media, of course, saying the NFL should have thrown some sort of parental guidance warning for the performance. Let's be honest here and let's be real with ourselves. Number one, anybody who was watching the halftime show, which of course I was for reasons that everybody probably knows. I mean, they're look, Jennifer Lopez and Shakira are two very attractive women. So y'all know I was all about watching them dance and booty shake. About that booty shake. If you knew Jennifer Lopez and Shakira was going to be the halftime show performers at the Super Bowl, which I'm pretty sure the majority of the world knew, you should have already known what to expect from those two performing together. There's no reason why you should have been offended or shocked at what you saw. Anybody who has seen one of those two female performer shows knows there's a lot of booty shaking and hip grinding involved in the show. So if you thought you was going to get something different just because they were performing on the Super Bowl stage, you're crazy. you are you're acting crazy for thinking that. As a matter of fact, crazy's probably a nice word. You were probably out of your mind. You were really idiotic if you thought you was going to get some sort of a PG show. These women, when they get up on the stage, they're booty shaking, they're hip grinding, they're dancing provocatively. That's what they do. That is part of their performance. And it is what made them what they are today, which is multi-million, billion-dollar performers. So if you're one of these people on Twitter or whatever other social media site who wanted to say the NFL should have put some sort of parental guidance on their show, warning that it might not be suitable for younger viewers, again, you knew who was performing, you knew what their performance is made out of. You knew that going in. So now all of a sudden you want to say you're offended. You want to say there should have been a parental guidance thing? No, there shouldn't have. You're crazy. Everybody knew what these women were bringing to the table, and they brought it, and they were very good. This was a very good halftime show. I was very well entertained. So, uh, props to J Lo and Shakira for putting on a great show at the Super Bowl, and for the people who continue to say there should have been a parental guidance, get a life. Get a life. Is this what you do every day? Just to try to get on social media and find everything that's wrong with the world instead of trying to find stuff that is right with the world? If that is the case, then yeah, you need to go ahead and find another hobby because it's ridiculous. It just seems like there's always somebody who can find something wrong with anything. And for those people, again, maybe you need to go to a psyche valve somewhere and get yourself checked out because there's more to life than to just try to find everything that's negative about it. So again, great show by J Lo and Shakira. Next on the agenda, let's go to Major League Baseball. And on Tuesday night, there was a huge trade that went down involving Mookie Betts, the outfielder, formerly of the Boston Red Sox and now with the Los Angeles Dodgers, who was MVP just a couple of seasons ago, or I guess last year. I mean, 2020 is about to begin here. I mean, spring training is about to get kicked off here in a couple of weeks. But 2018, Mookie Betts was the MVP. The Boston Red Sox traded him and pitcher David Price to the Los Angeles Dodgers for a couple of young players. Let me see, make sure I got their names right. Alex Verdugo and Rustar Gratterall. I think I said that right. If I didn't, I apologize right now. But a couple of young players for the Red Sox to try to reset with. So let's go to the Los Angeles Dodgers first before I talk about the Red Sox. Obviously, when you bring a player like Mookie Betts onto the team, you are bringing him on there to make a push for a World Series title. We all know the Los Angeles Dodgers have been very close to winning the title. They went to the World Series in 2017, lost to the Houston Astros in 7 games. We all know what's going on with the Astros and that alleged that the sign stealing scandal. Ooh, tough to say. The sign stealing scandal that took place during that year, and we've seen the fallout from that. Coaches have lost their jobs. Managers have lost their jobs. AJ Hinch gone. Alex Cora, who was the bench coach on the Astros that year and then went to the Red Sox in 2018, won a World Series title, was named as pretty much the ringleader of it. He lost his job as manager of the Red Sox as well. Carlos Beltran lost the job to the New York Mets, or lost the job after being hired by the New York Mets. So, and we're still trying to see what's going to happen with Cora. But the Dodgers were the team that lost in the World Series in 7 games. Then they lost to the Red Sox in 5 games. And then they made it to the playoffs last year, got knocked out early by the Washington Nationals, losing the fifth and deciding game in Los Angeles. As a matter of fact, the Dodgers lost all of the deciding games at home. Just painful. Man, just painful. But they go and they get Mookie Betts, and you team him with Cody Bellinger, who was the MVP last year for the National League. And obviously, this is a move for the Dodgers to win right now. They've been so close to closing the deal. They feel like Mookie Betts is the guy, and who better than him? I mean, Mookie Betts is one of the top 5, 6 players in the league, in the majors. Uh, when you look at all the players that are in there. But you bring him there, the Dodgers are sending a message. We are trying to win this thing right now. They're trying to look forward to, if they get to the World Series, who they could play. A lot of people think it's going to be the New York Yankees. So they're just kind of looking at things toward the future. They feel like they can win the National League, and they're just worried about really just having an arms race and getting bigger guns to win the World Series. And when you get a guy like Mookie Betts, that's about as big of a gun as you can get. So obviously, the Dodgers are trying to win now. For the Red Sox, this is a move that is saying they're kind of trying to retool here. They're looking at the Yankees and maybe even the Astros as well. And they're saying, we don't have what we need to compete with these teams. And of course, Mookie Betts was coming due for a deal. They didn't think they could pay Mookie. So, or at least not what he was probably going to ask. Well, now we don't know what was going on with the negotiations between those two sides, but I would assume they didn't think they could pay him what he was asking for, just simply because they went ahead and they traded him, and they didn't want him to walk away without them getting something in return. So it seems like the brain trust of the Red Sox just said, we're going to trade him and try to get something in return and not come out of here empty handed. And again, they're retooling here. This looks like they're starting to rebuild. And this is something the people in Boston are not used to. They're used to being up there retooling in terms of putting themselves in the best position to win. When you trade a guy like Mookie Betts, you're not trying to win much, honestly, because he, like I said, he's one of the best 5, 6 players in the major leagues. So they're obviously trying to go in another direction. They lost the manager, Alex Cora. So it looks like they're trying to retool a little bit on the fly, bring some younger talent in, and just start to build around that younger talent. Now, the Red Sox still have a pretty decent team. They still have JD Martinez in the lineup, still have Andrew Benintendi, Alexander Bogarts, Jackie Bradley Jr., just to name a few. They still have some pretty good players on that team. But right now, they're just kind of trying to put together at least a solid product until they can come back and get some bigger name players, I guess, or some star players to put themselves back in the race with the Yankees. But right now, the Yankees seem to be the class. The Red Sox know that, and they're going to just try to retool and bring some younger players in. So, Dodgers trying to win right now. Red Sox looking like they're trying to set up for a few years from now. So, we'll see how it goes. But big trade in the major leagues from Tuesday night. Finally, I'm coming after my trade, the media, once again. Because just like with pretty much everything else, they want to try to blow everything up into a ridiculous story that really doesn't need to be blown up right now. So, of course, as everybody knows, Tom Brady is a free agent, unrestricted, and everybody is looking at whatever move he is making, whether it's him and his wife Giselle selling their house, moving stuff out of their house in Boston or in suburban Boston, and apparently she's down in Nashville. She was down in Nashville, just something that I heard. She was down in Nashville looking for houses and looking at schools for the kids to go to. So now, of course, people are saying, "Oh, that must mean Tom Brady wants to sign with the Tennessee Titans." So let's see how many teams I have heard that he can go to. I've heard he could go to the Los Angeles Chargers. I heard he could go to the Las Vegas Raiders now. I heard he could go to the Titans, to the Indianapolis Colts. I heard on the radio somebody was talking about him going to the Dallas Cowboys, assuming Dak Prescott doesn't stay or whatever happens with that situation. And Tuesday, I heard he could go to the San Francisco 49ers because they might be, I guess, off the rockers with Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, how ironic would that be if that happened? But I don't see Tom Brady going to any of these teams. You guys know where I stand. Tom Brady is staying with New England. It's just that simple to me. He either stays in New England or he goes ahead and he retires. I don't see why he would go to a team unless it is the 49ers. None of these other teams are ready to win. If you're going to bring Tom Brady on there, you're probably signing him to a 1-2 year deal, and you're bringing him in there because you feel like he could be the missing piece for you to compete for a Super Bowl title. Well, if you're going to bring him in there, the rest of the roster better be set. The Chargers, they're not set. The Raiders, not set. Tennessee, maybe. We'll see with them later on or as we get closer into next year. But they made a run to the AFC Championship game, losing to the Chiefs. So they could be right there on that doorstep. Same with the Indianapolis Colts. They have a very good roster there that may be ready to compete now. But other than that, unless he's going to the 49ers, like that would be the best thing. That would be the sure thing that says you just saw this team in the Super Bowl. You know they're pretty much ready to win now. And if they were able to make a couple of plays on offense, they win that game most likely. So I don't see that happening though, because the 49ers, they're pretty well tied with Garoppolo. They believe in him. So as far as Brady goes, I don't see him going anywhere. I just don't. I'm not saying it can't happen. Obviously, we've seen players who have played 1 year or multiple years or their whole careers with one team, and then at the end of their careers go somewhere else. I just don't see that with Tom Brady. The man has been in the league for 20 years and, well, almost 20 years. And unless he feels they can win right now with him on the team, he's not going there. I don't see him going there. Honestly, there's not too many teams set up than the one he's been playing his whole career with. All they really need is a few weapons on offense. And maybe N'Keal Harry develops, Julian Edelman can come back healthy, and then you can get you a tight end, get a little bit of health on the offensive line, and New England is ready to go. Their defense is pretty good. So New England's not that far off, and I'm pretty sure they're going to do what they have to put some people around him. But other than that, the media, calm down, please. I know we won't. I mean, because that's what we do. We want to throw BS out there. We want a grenade launch with all these quote unquote hot takes and garbage narratives. But we need to calm down with this. It is ridiculous for people to just try to follow every move he makes and try to predict where he's going. Let's let it play out. Let's stop throwing bull crap out there and let things materialize how they materialize. Until proven otherwise, I think Tom Brady is staying put in New England or he retires, one or the other. I will be very shocked if he goes anywhere else. And of course, as you know, if he does go somewhere else, I will be the first one to come on here and say I was wrong. Well, that's what I am breathing on for this webcast. Everybody make sure to go on to the Breath of Fresh Air YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button. Also, if you're on Facebook, continue to keep those likes coming. We appreciate everything that has come to us in terms of those subscribers and the likes, and we're trying to grow this thing as efficiently and as big as we can. We have big goals coming up, and hopefully, we can start implementing some of these plans later on in the month. So we're here. We gotten everything back in place now after a little bit of a hiatus, and now it's time to go out there, grind, and project. Let's get it then, as I call it. It is back in full effect. So keep on the lookout. We will keep you updated. Continue to keep comments coming. Don't be scared to comment and let us know how we're doing, good, bad, or indifferent. We will respond to you. And we're all about keeping the dialogue and the conversation going. If you agree or disagree with us, let us know. We're all about the conversation, all about the debate if it turns into that. So it's a lot of fun to do this show, and we want to continue to put out the best product for everybody else to see. So until next time, everybody take care. Hopefully, Patrick Brackett will be back with me next week and he gets better. And that's the most important thing, that he starts to feel better. Until then, everybody take care. Have a good rest of the week. If I don't come out with a shorty later on, but everybody take care and we will talk soon.